All right, so I'm back. Okay, so there was a raise on the button and then a all in. Obviously, I'm not gonna call it 8-4 suited. Just checking out the play here. So ace four, and then the all in was ace 10. Yeah, so you could see, that guy called an all in with ace 10, shipped it in, or excuse me, called with the ace four after raising the button. I think that's the same guy and I should top up at this table too. The same guy in the last video that won that coin flip against me with pocket ace versus ace nine. So kind of sad because looked like he was just on tilt. Oh, so actually, kind of made a mistake here. I didn't realize this guy to my left was in the hand with me, and yeah. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and bet this king, and at the very least get this guy to my left to fold. All right, so the only draw he could have is 9-10, which there's no reason for me to bet. Yeah, actually, it's a good call. So there's no reason for me to bet there because I have him winning. The only thing that's going to call you is something that's going to have you beat on that river. So I mean that's why I just kind of shut it down. I'm not going to go four barrel bet that. All right, so and I'm still figuring out this function on Club WPT as far as looking at the hand history. All right, so I raise pocket sevens. I get called from the same guy to my left who's probably going to call me every single time. Because the ace hit, I'm just going to go ahead and fire away. And yeah, I was hoping possibly I can get these guys to fold because the ace being a scare card, but um, yeah, that didn't happen. So if he bets, I'm just going to go ahead and give him credit for this. Over here, I'm just going against a button raise. I got ace nine suited, so I'm going to defend. And I'm just going to play this very cautiously, even though I flop top pair. My hand is still very vulnerable, so I'm probably going to check call here. Oh, excuse me. All right, King Jack, first to act. I'm just going to go ahead and raise that. All right, so he fires a second bet. Now, potential Broadway, and I'm going to continuation bet this Jack. I'm going to call this again. All right, so now I river two pair. I'm just going to check call again. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. So this queen up here, I flopped a second pair. The queen paired. Let's see what happens here. All right, so I actually rivered a guy who was making a button raise with ace jack, and probably going to win this hand here too. All right, so I had him beat the whole way with my kicker. So this hand here, ace nine versus ace jack. He made a button raise with ace jack. I think that's really ahead of most people's range to raise on the button. So again, even though I was losing the hand, you can't really look at it like that. You have to kind of play like what their potential range is. Obviously, when he made a second bet on the turn card, he kept continuation firing. I was a little bit concerned there. The continuation bet on the flop is going to be standard, especially with an ace hitting the flop. People are going to want a continuation that board because it's a good board to really just bet all of your range on. If somebody doesn't have an ace, it's very hard to continue there. All right, so ace five, first act. I'm just going to go ahead and raise. And every hand that I play, I'm either going to be raising or folding when I'm the first to act. Even with these very passive players behind me, um, that are gonna flat call me. What that should do is I should tighten up my range in this situation. For this video, just kind of making some content and just kind of firing away and seeing what's happening. So I turned my five, obviously two overcards ahead of me. The guy from the straddle, the four straddle, he leads out and bets a turn. I'm just gonna get out of the way. So it's actually ahead, believe it or not. Obviously, a lot of cards going against me. All right, so pocket fours. If now, if like say like the button raises here, this is a different scenario than even like the ace nine, because I mean, uh, you really have to flop a set. You're gonna be out of position the whole way. Now, I look at my implied odds and how likely these guys are to pay me off, and given this this game, I feel like I can warrant just calling here. But if it was especially heads up, this guy just raised a button, I'd probably just look just to fold this here. It's really tough to play a small pair like this out of position. I think that that ace nine suited definitely was easier to play out of position. You flop an ace or you flop a nine, it's going to be a higher pair on the board. With pocket fours, there's just so much going against you, and it's very hard to play that hand in that situation. So I have to factor in my implied odds. For example, if I flop a set, how likely am I that one of those two guys are going to pay me off? And pretty much understanding that really like the main way I can win this pot is if I flop a set, which is only going to happen like 1 out of 8 times. So I have to look and make sure that the math will add up in that situation. All right, so ace queen, raise. I get 1 caller, very loose passive player. Gonna go ahead and continuation bet. I'm probably ahead in this hand against his range, and so he just goes ahead and folds. So all right, so 2 callers here. Queen 8 suited in the straddle. Leads out about a quarter of the pot. I'm just gonna go ahead and fold here. 9-10, I'm gonna fold. Even 9-10 suited, I just don't think with this many players behind me, it's good enough to raise. It's too easy for these guys to come in behind me, and you're going to be playing a speculative hand out of position. You'd have to hit the flop extremely hard to really warrant that. All right, so 10-6 suited, going against a raise on the cutoff. Just going to fold that. All right, so I'm probably gonna go about 5 more minutes on this video. That'd make it about a 30-minute session. But kind of giving people an understanding of how I multi-table. You gotta have an understanding of how to play each hand from like each position, and then kind of go from there. For example, Queen 5 suited. I know I'm gonna fold, against this raiser here. He looks like a pretty strong player. Maybe a little bit on the loose aggressive side, but his numbers seem pretty good. King 10 on the button. I'm going to go ahead and raise this. Ace Jack down here on the 2 off the button. So the hijack seat. Raised Ace Jack. Got 3 callers. 2 out of the blinds and then 1 to my left. So flop just the 2 overcards. And getting a pretty good price to continue here. I think you got to consider, you got to hit one of your overcards, but somebody's likely on a club draw. I'm going to go ahead and peel anyways to see what happens. I mean, there is an outside chance you're ahead even with just like the ace jack, but I mean, that's a tough... All right, so the final run out is not strong enough for me to continue. This guy bets basically a pot bet here. All right, so this table is pretty much done. I'm going to play this hand heads up against this guy. And flopped an ace. I'm just going to check and turn a club draw. Maybe I'll check raise this turn, see what happens. All right, so I'll go for thin value with the ace and just trying to get paid off. But yeah, so he folds and I win that pot heads up. So I'm gonna go ahead. So one thing about Club WPT, and it's a critique of the site. I know it's a new site. It's got a lot of action. There's a lot of positives about it. I enjoy playing tournaments on there. I finished second in a progressive $100 buy-in progressive knockout earlier this week. So, that netted me like $2,700 or something, which is really good. But I was down even more than that before I hit that tournament. So, I mean, this site is pretty volatile, a lot of very loose play, but also things that you take for granted on other sites. Like, for example, just a function of, most sites have an option where you can sit out on the big blind. And so I'm playing multiple tables and I can just decide like, all right, I think I'm done with my session. And then just go and click out big blind on each of my tables. So then I just know when it gets to my big blind, it's going to sit me out and then I can close the table. But this, like, it doesn't have that function. So you pretty much have to pay attention to the table. And like now I know in this hand, my next hand, I'm going to be in the blind. So I want to go ahead and sit out this table and then leave. And, I hope that when they start to get bigger and they make software upgrades that they add those features, because it's it's just a service to the player. So I'm not sure if I won or lost on this session. Probably pretty close. I think I got pretty close to stacked at one table, but I'm up like a buy-in and a half at this table. So I'm gonna go ahead and try. Having some internet connection issue. I'm gonna go ahead and try to just raise here with the 9-7 suited. Again, running into trouble with this very passive player behind me that is calling in position. It's probably going to call in position with pretty much anything. So got a pretty good, if you got 9-7 suited, if you can't get it heads up to, I don't know what just happened here, but if you can't get it heads up with 9-7 suited to where you can outplay somebody by betting them off the hand, and the next best option is to get it multi-ways to where you got to hit a big flop. So, all right, so this is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bet at this. Hopefully this guy just had nonsense, but all right, so I kind of pot committed myself here. See what happens here. And actually when oh wait, he had a straight. What the hell? Okay, so he flopped a straight. I thought I just had the was ahead with the sevens and he was on the draw with a open-ended straight draw, but I misread the board. So but again, you can kind of see this guy called in position with 5-4 suited. That's the situation on the what the hell? I don't know what's going on with my Club WPT, but I can't see. I'm going to give this, even with nines, the stacks aren't big enough in that situation to really, I got to feel like I'm ahead of him. And even though these guys play very loose and they're playing a lot of hands, they're not playing them aggressive. So when somebody comes out and just fires a raise, it always gives me, makes me put on the brakes a little bit. All right, so here, second set on a pretty draw heavy board, pretty coordinated board. I'm pretty much just gonna go all in. Yeah, that's so that's good. I got stacked this guy with fives, and that's what I was actually hoping to see that over an overpair over a flush draw or a combo draw, because 2 outs against 11 or 12 is obviously what I want to go against. So that's a great scenario in that situation. But I might have looked to trap that hand. So I'm going to fold this and then I'm going to sit out this table. I might have looked to trap that hand with the pocket. What the hell? What is going on? This site failed to reach the usage limit. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave. Okay, so again, with those pocket fives, I might have got tricky. If he just had a top pair of eights or something like that, it's a very possibility that he would fold if I shoved all in on that flop. So I didn't want to do that. All right. Let me see what happens when I try to sit out. Same deal. So um, if he had a pair of eights, he might have folded when I shoved. So I might have, if there was not a spade draw on the board, I might have got a little bit more tricky as far as like trapping and just calling, and then seeing if he bet the turn, and maybe even flat calling that if I made a turn to a full house, or something like that, being a little bit more tricky. But with the draw heavy board, for one, like the trouble I ran into with that previous set I hit, where the guy had pocket aces and I wasn't able to stack them because then that scare card hit a turn, which really wasn't a scare card because the guy did have the ace of spades, so he likely was going to go with it. But I wasn't able to stack that guy in that situation in that last hand with the pocket fives. I just decided, like, just get it all in with such a draw heavy board, and just get the run out. Hopefully my fives hold up. Obviously, like I mentioned, it was a great scenario because he had pocket nines as opposed to having a big combo draw, and I was just going against two outs to beat me. So great situation. So that was my session for today. I'm just going to show you kind of Club WPT Gold tournaments. They got a lot of free rolls going on. So if you're just looking to sign up, that's get in as many of these free rolls as you can. I believe you do have to play a certain amount of live money before they allow you to get in these free rolls. I'll click on this right now and let you know. All right. So let's see. So to be able to get in this free roll, sign up for Club WPT, win a Gold Rush ticket, and then yeah. So these are looks like these Gold Rush eligible events are events that are going on in the World Series of Poker right now. Event location Horseshoe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure, but I know that that's where they play. They're playing the World Series of Poker. So yeah. But Club WPT, I mean, there's a lot about the site I don't like as far as the usability. I don't like that they don't have that option where you can sit out on the big blind, and I don't like that the majority of the tournaments that they have are either bounty or progressive knockouts. But I do understand why they're doing it. They're catering to the real gambling demographic that might not be as strong in tournaments as a lot of tournament specialists, but they can kind of have fun in like a progressive knockout, just going for knocking people out and winning a little bit that way. Whereas going really deep in say a $50 progressive knockout, being able to go really deep will be a lot harder than knocking some people out, or even the kind of rush of gambling to try to knock somebody out. So these tournaments are very they really attract a lot of recreational gamblers, which is fine. That's what you want in poker. As you see, they have tournaments ranging from 33 to 550 to well, this is a satellite right here, a $22 satellite into the $218 tournament. They got a lot of these satellites that go into like a $5 satellite into a $55 tournament. I used to, when I first started coming up playing poker, I mean, this is 15, 20 years ago almost, I used to feast on a lot of these tournaments because they're very easy to play. The blinds move up fast, so once you understand turbo tournaments, you can play a bunch of them at a time and really kind of do well in them. So then they also have these sit and go tournaments that you can play as well. So it's a new site. I like playing on it. There's things about it I don't like compared to like WSOP, which I find that WSOP is really, really good as far as their software and their usability. So yeah, I hope that if you have any questions about the cash games, anything I did, or the way I played it, again, you can see the people's stats. You can see how loose they are. It's very beneficial just to play straightforward. I hit a couple of sets which were good against overpairs, which obviously I'm not usually going to run that good. But at the same token, if I didn't hit those sets, I would have played the hand, got kind of cheap and then got out of the way. So just things to keep in mind. If you have any questions, just jump in my comments. And yeah, until next video, I'll see you next time.